Statistics and probability.
Good morning! Welcome to our subject, Statistics and Probability. Today we will have hypothesis testing for paired sample case. Watch and listen to this video lesson. Are you ready? Let's start with activity 1. Read the following and answer what is asked. First item, a student asks his mom for a tutor in mathematics. His grade in this subject is very low. Can the tutorial program help to raise the grade of the student? Number 2. Cardo wants to lose weight. He jogs every day from 6 in the morning until 7. How can jogging aid Cardo in losing weight? Third, a mother is so bothered about the amount time spent by her son in playing mobile games. She believes that the grade of her son will be affected. Is she right about this? Pause this video and answer the activity.
A few moments later.
What is a paired sample case? Do you have any idea? Here is the definition and formula. Paired sample t-test compares the means of two measurements taken from the same individual, object, or related units. Formula: T is equal to the summation of the D all over to the square root of the N, which is the sample size, multiplied to the summation of the square of the difference, or D, minus the summation of D raised to the power of 2 over N minus 1. Wherein our degrees of freedom is equal to N minus 1 and our D is the difference. Let us have an example. 9 persons took a certain training to improve their IQ. The data are written below. Use 0.05 level of significance. Determine whether or not the training was effective. Before the IQ of the 9 participants, we have 90, 95, 92, 90, 100, 94, 96, 94, 90. And after the training, the IQ of our participants, we have 93, 95, 96, 93, 100, 96, 97, 96, and 94. Now we will conduct hypothesis testing using the 6 steps. Step 1. Our null hypothesis, the training has no effect to the IQ. Or in symbol, the mean of the difference is 0. Or our alternative hypothesis, the training has an effect to the IQ. And in symbol, our symbol is the mean of the difference is not 0. So it's non-directional because we don't know if it has an effect, if it is greater or less than. So we know our alternative hypothesis says that it has an effect. Step 2. From the given, our level of significance is 0.05. Step 3, the appropriate test is the t-test for paired sample case. Step 4. So for step 4, we need to determine the region of rejection, and we'll use the critical values. So to determine the critical values of t-test, we use the t-table. So in our t-table, we have there the one-sided p, the two-sided p, the degrees of freedom, and the confidence level, and the probability or the t-values. So since our alternative hypothesis is directional and our level of significance is 0.05, so we'll look for two-sided p. So in two-sided p, we'll look there the 0.05. And that is the 0.05 in two-sided p. And for our degrees of freedom, which is n minus 1, so our sample size is 9 minus 1, 8. So the intersection of the two is 2.306. meaning the critical values are positive and negative 2.306. So positive and negative because it is non-directional. This means that if the computed t is greater than 2.306 or less than the negative 2.306, then the null hypothesis will be rejected and accept the null alternative hypothesis. If not, then accept the null hypothesis. For step 5, for our computation of our t statistic, so we'll solve first the difference and square of difference of each respondent. So going back to the data, so we have here the before and after IQ of our participants. So we're looking for the difference and the square of difference. So when we say difference, we subtract. First, 93 minus 90. So when we subtract, it's after minus before, or post-test minus pre-test. So our difference from 93 minus 90 is 3. 95 minus 95, we have 0. And 96 minus 92, we have 4. And then 93 minus 90, we have 3. 100 minus 100 is 0. 96 minus 94, we have 2. And then 97 minus 96 is 1. And 96 minus 94 is 2. And 94 minus 90 is 4. After we have the difference, let's have the square of the difference. So meaning, we have here 3, the difference. So 3 times 3, so multiply itself. The answer is 9. 0 times 0, 0. 4 times 4, 16. 3 times 3 again, 9. 0 times 0, 0. Then 2 times 2, 4. And then 1 times 1, 1. And then 2 times 2, 4. And 4 times 4, 16. So the next thing to do is to sum up. Or let's try to add the d and all the d square. So the summation of d or the sum of d is 19. So that's 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4. And then for ed squared, so that's the sum of the d squared. That's 9 plus 0 plus 16 plus 9 plus 0 plus 4 plus 1 plus 4 plus 16, which is 59. So we're done with the first part of solving the summation of d and the summation of d squared. Now let's move on to the formula. This is the formula in solving our t. So we'll substitute our given. So our t becomes 19. That's the sum of the difference over the square root of. So our n is 9 because there are 9 participants. And then the square, the summation of d square is 59 minus the summation of d is 19 then squared. All over 9 minus 1. So we simplify here. We have 19 over the square root of. So 9 times 59 is 531. And 19 times 19 is 361 all over 8. Furthermore, we simplify. We have here 19 over the square root of 170 over 8. And then it becomes 19 over the square root of 21.25 because that's 170 divided by 8 is 21.25. And now we have 19 over 4.6098, or simply our t is 4.12. So our step 6, our decision. Since the computed value of t is 4.12, which is greater than 2.306, the null hypothesis is rejected. Therefore, the training affects on the improvement of IQ of 9 persons. Furthermore, the training is effective. It is your turn to answer. Read the problem and conduct hypothesis testing. A workshop was conducted to improve the knowledge of the teachers on ICT. The data were collected from a randomly selected sample both before and after the ICT training program. So the pre-test scores and the post-test scores of the 10 participants. So we have there in the pre-test 12, 14, 13, 11, 12, 10, 14, 12, 10, 11. And their post-test scores are 15, 14, 12, 14, 16, 11, 12, 13, 13, and 12. At 0.02 level of significance, what can the organizer of the workshop conclude? Pause the video and answer the problem.
A few moments later.
Let us reveal the answers. Step 1. Null hypothesis. The workshop has no effect on the knowledge of teachers on ICT. In symbols, the mean of the difference is 0. Alternative hypothesis. The workshop has an effect on the knowledge of teachers on ICT. The mean of the difference is not 0 and it is non-directional. Step 2. 0.02. The level significance. Step 3. T-test for paired sample case. Step 4. So for our region of rejection, we need the t-table to determine the critical values. So we have here the t-table, and then our level of significance is 0.02, and our alternative hypothesis is non-directional, meaning two-sided. So two-sided P. So looking at the two-sided P and 0.02, let's look for 0.02, and we have it there. For our degrees of freedom, since we have 10 participants, so -1, we already have our degrees of freedom, which is 9. And the intersection is 2.821. The critical values are positive, negative 2.821. This means that if the computed T is greater than 2.821 or less than negative 2.821, then the null hypothesis will be rejected and accept the alternative hypothesis. If not, then accept the null hypothesis. Step 5. Computation of our test statistic. We will solve first the difference and the square of the difference of each respondent. So this is our given data. So the difference and the square of the difference. So we have here the difference of 15 and 12 is 3, 14 and 14 is 0, 12 and 13, so 12 minus 13 is negative 1, 14 minus 11 is 3, 16 minus 12 is 4, 11 minus 10 is 1, 12 minus 14 is negative 2, and 13 minus 12 is 1, 13 minus 10 is 3, and 12 minus 11 is 1. And for our d squared, we have here 3 times 3, 9, 0 times 0, 0. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. And 1 times 1 is 1. So, the sum of d, so 3 plus 0 plus negative 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus negative 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 13. And our d squared, the sum of our d squared is 9 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9 plus 16 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 is 51. So using the formula, we substitute our given. So t is equal to 13 all over the square root of 10 times 51 minus 13 squared all over 10 minus 1. Then simplifying it, we have 13 over the square root of 10 times 51 is 510 and 13 times 13 is 169 all over 9. And then 13 all over the square root of 341 over 9. Then we have 13 over the square root of 37.89. So that's 341 divided by 9. Using our calculator, we have 37.89. And then we use our calculator, it becomes 13 over 6.1554. And then our t is 2.11. So our decision, since the computed value of t is 2.11, which is less than the 2.821, the null hypothesis is accepted. Therefore, the workshop has no effect on the improvement of knowledge of teachers on ICT. Furthermore, the teachers need more workshops in order to improve their skills on ICT. If you have some suggestions, comments, and queries regarding our topic, just give your thoughts under comment section or directly ask me through Messenger. Thank you and see you next topic.